Because you do it tonight. Call your mother and your father to let them know that you're dead. What the hell they should do? Say your prayers and beg for forgiveness. The reaper is rising and you're on the checklist. You can run, but you cannot hide. Your ending was closer and death is on your side. Your decision, your life has made it hard for you to survive. Count your chick hands, accept your losses. You are the reason for the nails in your coffin. Shame, shame, I know your name.
Are these two records Kiss's best of all time back-to-back releases? We're going to talk about this today on Podcast Rock City Live. What's up, everybody? Joe here from Podcast Rock City. And with me this week, Sonny Hollywood Pooney.
We decided earlier we're going to release a 25-minute version of This is a Kiss podcast. This is a Kiss podcast. This is a Kiss podcast. That's what we're going to say over and over and over.
I don't get the joke. I'm out of the loop myself.
Remember the band we were talking about?
Yeah. My bad. Okay. Woo!
We're an American band. We're an American band.
Oh, my goodness. And right down there is the lovely and beautiful Miss Lee, the Goddess of Thunder. How you doing?
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back.
Oh, everybody's glad you're back. It is so good to see you guys. We got a few things to talk about. We're going to make sure that we do it all today, and I've got some cool news for you guys. So let's go ahead and get to the news.
Podcast Rock City News.
Also got to get used to mentioning that Sven is on the board tonight doing the all our extra stuff, posting the comments and everything. So Sven, hope you do a good job. I don't want to have to fire you. All right, so today, this is the cool thing. There's been a little bit of Kiss news in the past couple of days, and we were talking about it online together. Sonny and Lee and I have decided that we're going to pool our money together and buy the Kiss catalog.
Yeah, we got about $15 so far.
Yeah. Are we buying it from Universal? I thought Universal owned it.
I thought Universal already owned the thing. So, Sonny, I'm going to go to you for business.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Because you were just on a business podcast.
Yeah. Is that crazy? Like I was on that finance podcast.
I listened to it. So here's the thing. If there's anybody that I know that knows a lot about business, dude, it's you. All right. So here's the thing. Kiss, let's say Kiss owns their music. I don't know that they do. I thought Universal owned it, but let's say they don't. Okay. Let's say Kiss owns it. What do you think a real roundabout number Kiss's music is worth?
Mm-hmm.
The whole catalog.
Yeah, it depends on who buys it. Like if it's Disney, it's probably worth 10, 20 million, right? Because they're going to put it on all kinds of stuff. If it's Joe Schmo in their basement,
us,
right? And they're just going to basically put it on the shelf and own it and be God of the world. And I guess Sam Loomis ain't got 20 million. So that's going to be a problem. So unless a conglomerate is going to buy it, it's not worth selling, in my opinion.
Right. Like when Michael Jackson bought the Beatles music and all of a sudden it started showing up in Nike commercials and all these other things.
And on iTunes, right? They were trying to stop it off iTunes, and all of a sudden it showed up on iTunes.
What did he pay for it? I wonder.
I don't think that was disclosed, but I don't know.
I know it was more than Paul McCartney offered. Because that's what ruined their relationship. That's what ruined their friendship. Hey, everybody that's watching, it's good to see you guys. I just saw somebody says that they just found us and they've been binge watching our episodes. Thanks, man. It's awesome. Lee, what do you think? If you had $20 million, would you buy the KISS catalog?
Probably. But I don't know what I'd do with it. I guess, I mean...
So if you this is amazing. Like I don't really understand all this, but if KISS sells their catalog, when they play live, do they have to pay the person that owns the catalog?
I wouldn't think so.
No, because anybody can do a live song. It's the recording that creates a issue, right?
Right.
But like if somebody's going to buy it and use it in car commercials and like. Either Sony or Disney or Apple or Google or Amazon, or it's going to have to be somebody huge. I don't see how somebody else can buy this catalog. And why would you sell it to anybody else?
I've heard Back in the New York Groove on Good Morning America and live with Kelly and whoever she's with now. I've heard it a lot.
But the difference there is they don't own that, right? So Russ Ballard is getting that money.
Right.
Right. So then you're going to, and I just don't see how, I don't think KISS is stopping their music from being used anywhere. Right. So the nice thing about having Zeppelin's music or, Mellencamp's music or Springsteen's music is they probably stop a lot of places from using their music because they don't want it tainted in some way. They don't want it in the next Herbie movie or they don't want it in the next Transformers movie. But if somebody like CBS buys it, they buy it to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
So then at that point, the artist just saying, I'm cashing out and I'm out. And normally when this happens, you usually hear about it. It's been passed on to somebody and that person doesn't really want to deal with the catalog anymore because why deal with that? You sell it off, make your money, you're done.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I would think, to me, I think that if Disney's going to buy anything, it's going to be the likeness. To be able to use them, maybe the music too, because without one, you can't use the other, right? Having it all.
You could make more cartoons.
Yeah, but you could sell the music and then license the likeness. So you keep making money off of something you already sold. So I'll give you an example of who does that. Nike and Under Armour. A major part of their business is kids business, but they don't make any of the kids' clothes. They hire Joe to make all their kids' clothes, and they license the Nike and Under Armour brand to them for a licensing fee, and they don't take a piece of the clothing. And you make the money off of whatever the clothing brings you because Nike doesn't want to be in business to make kids' clothes.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And basically, okay, so if I read it correctly, all the rest of the off the soundboards are being delayed until we find out what happens with this. So
I still think Universal owns it. So is Universal trying to dump it? Why would Universal dump it?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think that we read that a while ago on our show, that we talked about it. So it's just real interesting because I'm not really sure where this is going or if it's even true that they're trying to sell it, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
Okay. All right, so we've talked about that. You guys let us know what you think. Podcast Rock City 1.
That's the number one.
At gmail.com.
You were about to take a drink.
Yeah, Podcast Rock City 1. That's the number one. At gmail.com. Hey, Sonny, I see that you have a Washburn hanging behind you.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Remember those?
It's Washburn, right?
Yeah.
Paul Stanley special.
Wow, I don't have.
I got
one
that
of those.
silver one too. Remember the silver tone one? I have that one too. Yeah.
Is that one autographed?
This one?
Yeah.
No.
Some of them sold
Yeah.
had an autograph on the pick guard.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Okay, so before we go on to the topic of the week, I wanted to tell you guys we have started up our Patreon, and if you guys want to get some extra content that you won't be able to get anywhere else, you go to our Patreon, Podcast Rock City. There's a couple of tiers. It's not real expensive. It's going to be cool. As a matter of fact, when we're done today, Lee and Sonny and I are going to go and we're going to record a 20-minute Kiss Fix to put on our Patreon. That's the only place you could get it. And if you want, we've set it up where you can get our Patreon for a whole week free. You can just try it. You don't have to spend a penny. Try it for a week. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't cost you any money. And it will be cool if you get a chance to see the extra stuff that we're going to put out there. That all being said, it is time to get to the topic of the week.
Podcast Rock City Topic of the Week.
I was sent on a mission. Life years ago.
I want to say ahead of time, because I always say it at the end, but I always there's always a ton of you guys here watching the show live, and I want you to know I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. It's cool that you're here. If you're listening live or watching live or listening on the podcast, thank you. It always is awesome. 10 years in, and you guys still like the product that we're putting out. We really do appreciate it. All right. So I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I had an idea of what I thought were the best back-to-back Kiss records. I'll mention that in a little while. But I bet most people think it's these two. Destroyer and then Rock and Roll Over. So and Lee is giggling because she's ready to go at Sonny. I don't know. So here's the thing. Thanks, Rex. We love you too. Sonny, when it comes to back-to-back records, do you think that Kiss has a lot of good back-to-back records, or do you think it's just a couple?
To me, they have a lot of them because I like a lot of the catalog. And there's not that many true duds for me. So to me, there's a lot of them, but yeah, you know, most people are going to go to the 4 originals. Personally, that's not where I believe the best back-to-back records are, and I'll tell you why later. But yeah, I think there's a lot of back-to-backs.
You feel the same way, Lee?
There's a few, yeah. I mean, back in the day when they used to come out every 6 months and everything with an album, that was awesome. But yeah, I can think of a few that I would say.
Yeah.
Because you could say the same thing about the first 6 Van Halen records.
True.
Same thing you could say about the first 6. Back-to-back, take any back-to-back in those 6. And they're great.
But you don't think that there's
One and
any
two.
that you don't think
One and
there's
two.
any 2 that like just that's it. That's the thing right there.
For Van Halen?
No, for Kiss.
Oh.
Not in the original 6 to me.
Okay. Lee, so let's just go ahead and ask. Lee, your ideal Kiss back-to-back releases, what are they?
Well, my first choice is what you showed, because Destroyer's my favorite album, and I love Rock and Roll Over. So I had to go Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, but I also love Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun. So that was kind of difficult.
So which though do you choose? You pick Destroyer,
Yeah,
Rock
I'd have
and Roll
to pick.
Over.
That's what I'd have to pick. But I love the first 3 albums also. Of course, I love all the original stuff. Sonny.
Right. Jabbing. Sonny, what 2 records back-to-back do you think are the best?
And I'm not taking anything from the original 4. I think
know.
I think all 6 original records are great, right? And a lot of people will end up at either Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, or Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, because they're the biggest on the planet at the time. I'm an underdog guy. I like it when somebody's down in the dumps and they got to fight their way back, and there's different competition. They have to adapt to new competition and still come out winning somehow, right? So, yeah, there's Super Bowl teams out there that should have won the Super Bowl because they had great teams. Give me a Super Bowl winner that nobody saw coming. Those are great teams, and nobody knew about it. So to me, when they're down and they've got tons of competition on MTV, on the radio, on the road, in album sales, they've got members that are stepping out doing other things, and they still got to kill it somehow. To me, Asylum and Crazy Nights is the back-to-back record that shows that they deserve to be around. It's easy to release the album when you're on top of the world. Dude, they could have shit. Love Gun could be a complete piece of shit, and it would have sold because they were on fire.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't, and I'm not saying it is.
Right.
I'm just saying it's harder to do it when you got to fight. And give me an underdog. I do it all the time. I take somebody, when I hire somebody for a management position, dude, I get applications all the time. I was this at Amazon and blah, 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 Target and blah, 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 Walmart. Give me a person that can really connect with people. I don't care what your background is. You can be one of my managers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What do you think it takes to, like, for any band, or we could stick with Kiss especially, but if you look at being able to put out a record that is really good and then another one that's really good right after it, because there's tons of bands that have screwed that up, correct?
Yep. Yes.
Correct.
What do you think it takes? I think everybody's got to be working together or as a team, right?
Yeah. So to me, except for Def Leppard. Def Leppard's the only, probably exception to this rule. You can't wait too long. You got to be on the road in between, and you got to be, that first album of the two got to be good, which we're assuming it is. You got to be great on the road so that people are looking forward to the next album, right? And you got to get a little bit lucky. It's got to get promoted right. Your record company still got to be behind you, because a lot of the bands that you hear about that didn't get that second album off the ground after they had that big hit, dude, a lot of the times the record company stepped away from them, didn't give them the same push that they might have gotten if the record company sticks around or they do the right thing, right? So there's some luck involved to it too, but I think you got to a little bit swallow your pride too, and you can't be too different. Like, some of these artists, and I get it, they're artists, but they're like, okay, well, we've had this. Oh, well, shit, Alice in Chains used to do it. We got this great album. It's out there. Okay, we're going to throw this acoustic album on. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
No.
Oh, it's not about the album sale. It's about, the art. Okay, well, then I guess you're not going to have back-to-back great albums then.
Yeah, true.
Lee, do you think, at Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over, those are your back-to-backs. Do you think that, okay, so we know that when Destroyer came out, Peter started having all these thoughts of being out on his own, but we still wind up getting a great record out of them right after. But
several more great records,
and that's true. Depending, of course, on who you ask, because it's all opinion driven, which is,
of course,
everybody's got opinions. But do you think that they just? Where do you think? Okay, so where do you think it kind of fell apart for them? To you, do you where it didn't feel like they were a team anymore? Do you ever feel like that happened?
I kind of felt like after Dynasty, of course, that's when I felt it.
Yeah,
I'm just feeling back to when I was in middle school and going to high school. I just felt something was wrong.
My back-to-back records are Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun. I didn't mention this before. I should have. I Rock and Roll Over,
choice.
Love Gun. To me, those records are. They're hard hitting. They're everything. It's almost like it's almost so Destroyer came out and that was a polished Kiss, but Rock and Roll Over, they like took a little bit of the polish off, right? You hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then Love Gun, they did a little teeny bit of polishing, but they kind of found their spot, I think.
It just
and then
hits that first
and then of
song.
course, by the time Dynasty came out, they put turtle wax all over that shit and put a cape on it and like sparkles. And
But I love Dynasty too.
no, I get it, but so.
Maybe Sven finds the comment, but somebody put a comment up saying, if you really want to do this, you should do makeup and non-makeup.
Okay,
right? So
we can do that.
So if I had to choose
That's
a
true.
makeup one because I get to choose both, then I would also choose Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun. Same reasons. Because give me the back-to-back Kramer versus Ezrin involved in there.
Thank you, Sven, for pulling up the Darth Shredder thing there. That's the comment. I think this topic would work better if you did best makeup and non-makeup back to back. Look, we are never above listening to our viewers ever.
But you two give me the non-makeup. Your non-makeup one.
Oh, mine would probably be okay, so this may upset some people, but I'm gonna go with Revenge Carnival of Souls.
I gotta think about this.
Revenge Carnival of Souls. Revenge, they got heavy again. Carnival of Souls, that's just my style of music. I like it. It's darker, it's heavier. It's just for non-makeup, I remember the first time, and to be fair, there are a couple of songs on Revenge that I'm like, I think they're stinkers, but as a whole, the two of those back together, boom, boom, they're great. But Asylum, Crazy Nights, you're right, they're badass, but I want the heavier stuff, not as much the glammy stuff. Lee, you can think about it.
I mean, if I have to choose, it has to include Revenge. So I'm looking like what's after and what's before it is Hot in the Shade and Revenge. I loved Revenge. That was like, but I did love Lick It Up also. So,
There's
I guess
another
I might
two.
have to go Lick It Up, Animalize maybe.
Animalize. That's enough. See, so I think what I'm really trying to show here is isn't it interesting that that I mean, and I understand that we're all the Uber fan, you know what I mean? But isn't it interesting that it's harder for us than it seems to do something like this? It's not like, well, a good one. I know that there are bands out there that I like one record and the next one came out and I was like, nope. Like Skid Row put out Slave to the Grind, right?
Oh, yeah.
I did not enjoy the next record. What was it?
Subhuman Race. But the
Race.
first two are good though.
First two are amazing.
Right. But what I'm talking about, those first two are great.
You were trying to get a trifecta.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, maybe. Spoken like the gambler. But here's the thing for me. I enjoyed the first Skid Row record, but not like I did the second one. The second one, I felt like it blew away out of the water. That first one. If they
really, I thought the opposite.
Yeah,
I love both of them, man. They're hard.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah, those first two records are great. You know what? I'm going to bring this up now because it's going to be something that we're going to add into the show. Sonny and I have been talking about this, and next week I'm gonna start with Sonny, and the week after it's gonna be Lee, and the week after that it'll be Joey. But next week when we come on the show, Sonny is going to give me homework for the week. I am going to listen because here's the thing: I listen to a lot of different music, but so does Sonny, and it's going to be educating Joe. And basically, what's going to happen is Sonny is going to say, Joe, you got to go and listen to this album for a week and then come back next week and tell us what you think. Sonny, you good for that?
I'm good for that, but do you got Spotify?
I can get it. What does it
Okay,
cost? Like
all right.
$40 a month or something?
Oh no, it's like 15, I think.
$15? No, I'm kidding. But we're gonna do that next week because people are always like, "What do you listen to, Joe? Kiss?" And it's like I'm not always like that. So I thought that would be fun. We'll talk a little bit about it, in another section of the show. It'll be Educating Joe. We'll do it a little while and see if you guys like it. I don't listen. I guarantee Lee listens to albums like I can tell you this, and this is whoa. I'm about to say something that might have people hanging up. I have never listened to an entire Dio record.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
I have. You ain't missing much.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Come on, will you?
Every album, start at the first one, there's 7 good songs. Go to the next one, it's 6. Go to the next one, it's 5. Go to the next one, it's 2.
Lee's like,
Blah, blah, blah.
I'm not listening.
Dio, best vocalist ever. Come on.
That doesn't mean he can write great songs.
Well, he's got some great songs.
I know that one song.
Holy
Diver.
Diver. I figured you knew that one.
Everybody knows that. I'll tell you this. I went on vacation with some friends, and oh my God, Heavy Metal Beer Club said blasphemy.
Exactly.
We're going to change that. I'll listen to a Dio record for a week. We just got to wait.
And you got to be honest.
I even saw the
I will
hologram.
be honest. I will be honest. You went and saw the hologram show?
I saw the hologram.
Oh,
I saw
Were you
Dio,
happy
of course,
with it?
in real life several times, but it was pretty fun. It was pretty interesting. I liked it. They had, Goldie was playing, and I mean, it was pretty great.
Bretsky says he's never listened to. All right, we're gonna get off the subject. I screwed everything up. Like somebody's like, "What?" Okay. Don't take it personally. We're going to educate me. If you guys want to send me, if you guys out there are listening or watching, and you want to send me a suggestion of a band to listen to, send me a link with your favorite song by that band. I'll check it out. I'm not against it. I will tell you that my record collection upstairs is broad. It is everything from Stryper to Lady Gaga. I listen to a lot of music, but I'm not 100%, 1,000,000%, all rock. That's my thing, And all right, so we're gonna go away from this now. Let's get back to Kiss.
Okay, Bretsky, I'll forgive you.
Sonny, do you think that it's possible? I mean, so you get bands like Guns N' Roses that put out Appetite, right?
Oh,
and then
one of the best premiere albums ever.
Right. And then they put out Lies, 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 right? So, but let's take that one out. So it's much easier or for a band to put out back-to-back great albums, or do you think it's super hard?
Oh, it's absolutely difficult. There's, it's not like
Bretsky, I love
your-
Lady Gaga. I love her.
it's not like practicing your instrument that you get better every time you do it, right? You're putting out art, some hits, some doesn't, some you love, people don't love, some you maybe don't love that people absolutely love, and now you got to do it the rest of your life, right? But to land that and then try to go figure out the formula again when the recipe that you were using, you were just kind of making up as you go along and you didn't write any of the shit down. Like you don't know how you got where you got to. Right. So I think it's 100% difficult. Guns N' Roses to me is one of the most rated bands in history. I love that first album. I can't put together 12 songs I love after that first album. So it's just, I don't know. They're a good example of they just kind of got like almost prog and started doing weird stuff. And I'm like, dude, can you just do it so easy? Like, I just want 500 of those. Like, I don't want anything else different, right? But I think the other part is, and Kiss has dealt with this, is I'm a fan that I listen to X band. I don't want them veering too far off of their sound. If I want a different sound, I will listen to a different band. But then I also don't order hot dogs at an Italian place, right? So it's just, you get what I'm saying? Like, but that's me.
What about AC/DC with the exact same sound every album, but I still love it. Like
I
it's
don't
like
I don't mind it. I
that's
just
the most one that has exactly the same
yeah.
sound. Like they
And
don't
there's
care.
some AC/DC that I enjoy, and some I honestly just haven't heard that much. But I will tell
Well,
you,
it sounds just like the other.
the more I listen to Bon Scott ACD, the more I
Oh
love
yeah.
Bon Scott
Yes,
ACDC
that stuff's
more
amazing.
than the newer ACDC.
Yep. Agreed.
Really?
We agreed.
But there's
Holy
bands I
shit.
listen to. But there's two bands. I'll tell you, there's two bands I listen to that every time I listen to them, I like them less. Judas Priest, Twisted Sister. Every time I hear a song from those two bands, I like them less and less and less as I'm getting older.
Oh boy.
So you're talking about even the albums that you loved, or you're
Those are
talking
the
about the new
only
stuff that comes out you love a
the
little less?
only songs that I loved hearing from those guys, I can tolerate. Every time somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, you got to go try this," I'll go try it, and I'm like, God, I like these guys less and less.
Oh.
Like this is really bad.
Let me ask you this. So, and this is part of what I wanted to talk about. The fact that Kiss put out the solo albums, right? And Ace was basically hoarding songs, right? He was writing songs that he was not going to give to Kiss.
Mhm.
And do you think that if you take a couple of those songs off of Ace's record, right, solo record, and put them on Love Gun, do you think that Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun become legendary back to back to back?
They're already legendary.
But I mean, like, you don't think so?
I don't think so. I think they're, like Lee said, they're already legendary.
Yeah.
The fan base that they have. If you're thinking that Ace Frehley's vocal and songwriting is going to help you with mass appeal, you are pushing it.
But at the time,
and
right,
I
at the time,
love
his-
Ace.
Oh, his solo album is amazing.
Yeah, I love Ace,
It really is.
but it ain't made for mass appeal. Okay, so there were nothing Ace was going to write for his solo album is really going to make Love Gun any better. Love Gun's great, right? And yeah, you can say there's songs I don't love on Love Gun, and if they were different, blah blah, yeah, fine, but it's not going to sell another million albums. Here's my thought: is yes, Peter and Ace, whether they were hoarding albums or songs, whether they were thinking they were going to go make it out on their own, ultimately it's their fault. And however they handled their business and whatever splinters were happening, everybody who's in the band is somewhat at fault, right? Because you got four people that are in a relationship together. I think what happens is there's somebody in Peter's ear, there is somebody in Ace's ear going, you could do this by yourself. You don't need those two guys. Those two guys are assholes to you anyway. They keep taking the beer out of your hand. You could make it to where you never have not a beer in your hand. You could have two beers in your hand. Right? Like, so you get somebody that's like yakking in your ear. That's hard to shut up, to be honest.
Sure, there was a lot of it.
Yeah. And all those people have bad intentions normally, right? Because they're trying to get their guy to go be whatever so they can be somebody. I love Ace's solo album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those subjects where you start in one spot and you wind up all over the place, because it does. We are talking about something so unique as a back-to-back record. Let me ask you this though. So Kiss, we've all agreed that as far as rock and roll goes, Kiss has had a bunch of back-to-back really great albums.
Yeah.
Why do you think that they never caught on like a Bon Jovi? Why do you think that? Is it because they were the makeup band? I mean, but even in the 70s, they weren't selling 10 million was anybody? I don't really know. But Fleetwood Mac was selling tons of Eagles. Why wasn't Kiss when Destroyer came out?
Well, they weren't played on the radio much, were they?
That's
remember that whole thing where the Kiss Army went and circled with Bill Starkey.
Yeah,
the radio.
that's a good point. So to put out back-to-back albums a bunch of times and for them to be really good records and not to get 10 million records sold on a record, would that just all be because of radio?
No, I think what ends up happening is you have a gimmick. I'm going to get hate mail for this. I love this band. I love the gimmick. I think the gimmick is amazing. Okay? I'm not saying anything bad about the gimmick. But the gimmick paints you in a corner. Right? People love Ghost. Ghost does not have mass appeal. That's just all there is to it. They're never going to be Lady Gaga or Pink or any of these bands right now that are selling stadiums. It's just not going to happen, right? So if you ask people, is Zeppelin serious musicians? You would get a yes. If you ask people, are the Eagles talented musicians and songwriters? You would get a yes. If you ask those same people, are Kiss talented musicians, are they talented songwriters? You most likely don't always get a yes. They're the face paint guys. So the gimmick paints you into a corner.
They're just not taken seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
But Maiden didn't have diamond albums. Priest doesn't have
Right.
diamond albums. Scorpions don't have diamond albums.
These
are worldwide
10 million?
bands.
10
Yeah,
million
10
is
million.
a diamond?
10 million.
10
yeah.
million is a diamond. Today it's one of the things, being a musician myself, and like I own a music store. I teach music. I teach guitar. I have not taught a lot of Kiss songs, right? Because it's too predictable. Somebody comes in and they think, oh, this guy's going to teach Kiss. And then, I'll teach something else instead just because it's fun. But like, but when I have sat and just looked at some music and learned the Kiss songs, I mean, it's no less difficult than some bands that have sold or no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to wonder if a band like Kiss, the popularity they did have was because of the makeup. The music came in sliding into second, and it just happened to be good enough for the fans to go, the band with the makeup without that music, I'm not interested. The music without that makeup, I'm not interested in. Together, it's everything I want. Sonny?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I would say I Stole Your Love and I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Both of those songs, I don't know how to play an instrument, but I'm assuming both those songs are fairly simple to play. Okay? I Can't Get No Satisfaction is a well-known song. I Stole Your Love is not a well-known song. I'm sorry. I love it. But if you ask 100 people on the street, tell me what I Stole Your Love is, they would have no idea. But I Can't Get No Satisfaction, I guarantee you get 20 people that can hum it. Just a random 20.
Right. The same as if you were to say, do you know what Kiss looks like?
That's right. But if you were to tell me what Rolling Stones look like and tell me what Kiss looks like, you probably get more people tell you, oh, Kiss are the face paint guys, right? Then they're like a dragon, and there was a kitty cat, I think.
Kitty cat.
Kitty cat.
Paul Stanley could have been the teddy bear.
Oh, jeepers.
You said jeepers. I love that.
Jeepers.
That's awesome. Well, so I did a thing where I did a 20-minute Kiss Fix. If you guys don't know what that is, on Wednesday and on Friday, I come on live. Yikes.
Wow.
On the show. And I got to watch how I say that. I come on the show live and I do 20 minutes
you
in
said
the middle.
it again.
I said I come on the show.
Live. Stop.
It sounds
Please
terrible,
stop.
but I do a show and it's live, and I have a great time hanging out with you guys for 20 minutes or so, and we talk about things. And I did a whole show on Kiss television bootlegs. So basically, all the TV stuff, that got released, they put out there's a whole series you can find bootlegs, right? And somebody told me that you got to have the unmasked one. So I went online, I found it, and I ordered it, and I started watching it today. And as I'm watching it, one of the guys that's talking about the concert, right? He's so freaking bitter listen, he's bitter talking about how the band that opened for Kiss, well, they were the wrong band, but they were really good, and he's just gonna say it, and that they were way better than some of the fans were treating them, and the fans were awful, and then all of a sudden he throws in Kiss finally gets on stage and they're below mediocre ability, and I'm like, below mediocre ability? What does that even mean? It's like, here's the thing: there are people out there that have written and won Grammys on songs that have less ability than Kiss has. I mean, you take 4 chords, you put words with it, and it either hits home or it doesn't. When you and obviously it seems like I'm taking this personally, but I think I would say this about most bands. I don't think that having to hit somebody there in their ability or how good they are at what they do really defines whether or not a band is good, if that makes sense. You can have your dream theaters, but you can also have your alien ant farms, or your presidents of the United States. I think they use 2 strings.
Gotta have everything
on their guitars. So I thought it was really interesting that happened, where they basically, it was. I was just sitting there going, here. I was blown away by the fact that he made sure to say Kiss in their very limited ability, basically. I was like, what is that? You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't think it has anything to do with limited ability, because all these guys are talented. But Lee, I'll ask you a question, okay? If somebody asks you, tell me something about or explain Steve Harris in one word, bass player wise, or his personality wise, maybe it doesn't have to be in one word. How would you explain Steve Harris?
Ooh. He seems really shy as a person, but on stage he's a freaking beast.
And his music ability or his songwriting ability is amazing.
I mean, the words, where does he come up with? It's a history lesson. It's unbelievable.
But think about Gene. You have to get past the demon.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get past all the supposedly women he bedded. You got to get past the TV show. You got to get past the personality. And then you finally get to his bass playing. That's what I'm talking about. It's not. It's amazing.
Yeah,
right?
It is. And he beefs stuff up live. I mean,
that's right.
It's amazing.
The problem is it's all hidden by the demon.
True.
Because all people see is the demon.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you're one that, like me, that learned all of it. It's really involved. I mean, it's really great stuff. And when he beefs it up, it's really great.
But here's a good example of not necessarily disrespect, I guess, but there, I guess some magazine just put out their top 100 rock singers or something like that. And Paul Stanley was third in the 30s. Number 1 was Mick Jagger. Does he sing? When I think of Mick Jagger, let me get this straight. Make sure. I don't mind the Rolling Stones. I like the Rolling Stones, but I don't think of him as a singer. I always think he's more talking,
entertainer, more.
He's talking his lines. I never really think of him being able to sing. I guess it's it's like a rapper. I don't consider a singer. I consider them a rapper,
But that same writer couldn't name 3 Paul Stanley songs probably. Right. They go, oh, that's the guy from Kiss, right? So
Rock and Roll All Night.
Rock and Roll All Night. That's not Paul Stanley.
Yeah, that's all he knows.
Right? But he can name 3 Rolling Stones songs. That's the difference. Same thing. Mick Jagger. What do you think about? He's singer of the Rolling Stones. Paul, what do you think about? Oh, he's the star guy on Kiss. It doesn't even go to singer first.
Yeah.
So the brand is kind of worked against them almost. And we all know, right? They go from, okay, we're going to make it, to the gimmick plus the music works, to the live experience works, to merchandising, to Kitty Kiss. Right? It all happened so fast. The Kitties were never at the Zeppelin concert. Just like there's no women at a Mr. Big concert. Same thing.
Hey, now I was there. I got in the ladies' room real quick,
Yeah, 'cause there's 3 women there.
just like the Iron Maiden show.
Just like
I scroll right in.
I just like when I went and saw the New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
You had to wait a while for you didn't. Yeah, you got to stroll right in the men's room.
They didn't have any men's rooms. They put
Oh,
they put
come
ladies
on.
over. They put ladies over the men's sign.
Stop it.
I'm not even joking. That was in Gwinnett. I took somebody to see
That's
them, and
funny.
I was one of maybe 8 guys, and there was nothing but like 20-somethings hot
Oh.
women everywhere. It was like,
And what were you doing there, Joe?
I took a friend.
Okay.
We all
buy that. It was for a friend.
it was true.
Okay.
Anyway,
Why don't you just admit it? You went.
I'll tell you this
liked
though. I didn't. Hey, listen, I'm not going to say I didn't like it, but I didn't go for myself. But I will tell you
Sure.
this: the person that opened that show, I remember about. I had another friend that was there, and she told me that she went. And about a month later, she told me, "Hey, do you remember who opened for the New Kids on the Block?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm hearing her everywhere."
Who
And
is
it
it?
was Lady Gaga.
Oh, there you go again.
Yep. And
Very
I
good.
was like, hey, good
Mhm.
music is good music. Sonny's mic looks like King Tut Chin
Oh!
Beard.
King Touch and beard.
It's like,
Interesting.
it definitely was.
Eh.
So here's the thing. Look at Mick Murphy's thing here. Gene's bass playing on Dress to Kill should end all discussions of his ability. His groove and vibe is so damn good. He
Yep.
covers Meat and Bones, Rolling Stone sound to Skinnerd grooves. Now, Lee...
He's very underrated.
So Lee has learned a lot of that stuff because she was in by the way, if you go on eBay right now, you could buy a picture of Lee in full makeup in
That was from
autograph
like 2005, I think.
for like, how much was it?
Who's selling
$60?
them?
I don't even know. And then there was one of the full band, Black Diamond, too.
Why aren't you selling them? Why is somebody else selling them?
Because I signed it back then, and they probably went in their garage and found them or something. I don't know.
It even said
Don't ask me.
so just to fill you guys in, Lee,
We used
I guess
to sign
was
those.
Lee was in an all-girl, the first all-ladies
Mhm.
Kiss tribute band, and she, they did promo pictures, and
Yeah.
Lee found one. Did you find it, or did somebody tell you?
Someone sent them to me.
So basically somebody is selling a picture of Lee in the demon makeup, autographed by Lee, and it's going for like, I don't know, $60.
Yeah, and then there's a full band one of the
There's a
Black
full band one
Diamond.
that's going for 100, and I told her, if either of these sell, you're signing everything. We're putting it all on eBay. We're gonna make some
Not
money.
gonna sell. I'm sorry. Maybe
No.
if you buy it, Joe. Maybe.
Well, there you go. I remember somebody sent me a message one time that there was a Podcast Rock City pin on eBay, and it said Kiss pin, and I was like, they didn't read that very well. But
I was waiting for that to sell because I got 3 right there. I was going to.
Once in a while, I'll see the Black Diamond guitar pick set on eBay. We had a set of picks.
Hey Sven, put up Rory Erickson's comment right there. Kiss are technical geniuses compared to most pop music, which is so repetitive and bland. I think a lot were just jealous of their success. Now, that's a nice little subject that we could talk about in depth another time. But the truth is that you still do get people that like, even, people that were around back when they were around, that basically dog Kiss for too much marketing and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is just like Kiss has always said, if they could have done it, they would have.
Of course.
Yeah, somebody asked why do you think Kiss was never, there you go, invited to Saturday Night Live in the 70s. I'll tell you why. Because if Saturday Night Live has a chance to get the Eagles or Kiss, who do you think they were going to go get? Right? If they got a chance to get Diana Ross or Kiss, who do you think they're going to go get? They want the Village people. They don't want Kiss.
All right, so this is what I can tell you guys. I read something somewhere that they're actually banned from Saturday Night Live for something that happened outside of Saturday Night Live. So Sonny, do you think that radio play would have helped Kiss's sales?
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
70s kids grew up in radio.
All we had was radio.
Yeah, and you could say that they are not a platinum selling band in the 80s if it's not for MTV either, right? Paul's looks and the music helped.
Mhm.
Paul's
yeah.
looks are perfect for the 80s.
Oh,
The guy
he fit right in. He went right
fit
in.
right in.
Flew right into it.
Yeah. Gene looked.
It was made for him.
Yeah, Gene probably felt a little awkward until
was
he
a little
gets
awkward.
really closer to Hot in the Shade. He feels more comfortable when he gets there. But
Right.
Paul was made for the 80s. There's
Really
absolutely no
was.
doubt. Yeah.
Oh yes, I agree.
But radio, you don't see anything in radio.
Well, you would have saw it in the 70s.
They had a few TV shows they were on,
Yeah.
But now, what about in the 80s? So Kiss records, did they ever sell in the 80s like they did in the 70s?
They got, I think Smashes is one of their best-selling albums, isn't it?
Right. Do you think that had to do
MTV.
MTV?
Because the tour, I mean, if you think about it, Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade, they were having a hard time selling 7,000 seats.
That's true.
And they
'cause
would
I went
take
to
out-
those shows and
Remember,
were
they
just
took
half
out Great
empty.
White and Slaughter and couldn't sell
Yeah.
7,000 seats.
I had to go by myself because no one would go with me.
The other problem
real-
is Kiss hasn't went back after, I don't think they've done it since probably the late 80s. They haven't went back and had the RIAA recertify all the albums. Because my guess is they probably have some that are in the 3, 4, 5 million range, and we just don't know it.
Hmm.
Because you have to pay to get that done.
They ain't paying for that.
No.
Gene ain't paying for that.
No. Because it doesn't get you nothing.
Right.
Right? Whatever that was going to get you, you already got.
That's an interesting comment right there. No more rock magazines has killed music.
Oh, I loved my magazines back
I don't
in
know.
the day.
I will tell you, Chris, I don't disagree because of the pictures and the discovery, and you get to hook up to a band early in life and blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you, Spotify is the new rock magazine for me. I go to Spotify, and you don't know how many times during the week people will send me stuff saying, hey, check out this band, check out that band, check out my band. I send something back. You sure you want me to let you know what your band sounds like? Because I will tell you like it is. Okay? I will tell you the good and the bad. Can you take that? Right? So I use Spotify for all of that.
Well, the internet definitely ruined all the rock mags and
Yeah.
people
ruined
bands putting
magazines.
out one song and they stream one song and that's what everybody buys. It's just so different. Get off my lawn, by the way.
So Lewis is asking, can we do an episode on the Kiss Symphony? I will tell you that we've done audio ones, but I'm sure we're going to do one about the video eventually. All right, so listen, that was the show for the day. I mean, what did we accomplish? We learned a lot here, actually. I mean, I'm going to tell you what the interesting thing was. We really discussed Kiss's success and or lack thereof, or not lack thereof, or could it have been more? Or you know what I'm saying? If they didn't have the makeup, we all basically, I'm not sure if Lee agreed, but I think she did, that the band would not have done what they wouldn't have been as popular.
Well, the gimmick, of course.
The
yes.
gimmick was what really sold
It's
them.
big.
Because the
And-
music, although I love it.
I
again,
love the
I'll
music.
hate mail. I love that. Would it have competed with Sabbath, Zeppelin, the Eagles if there's
Yeah.
no face paint?
Possibly. I thought it was amazing. Like, I just did. I just do.
I just don't know. I don't know if they get enough attention.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never
Yeah.
know. Okay, so you guys that are watching right now, and you guys that are listening on iTunes, we are about to go. We're going to end this show. We're going to go and we're going to do an extra show that'll be on our Spotify. Now, listen, once again, it doesn't cost you anything to try Spotify for a week. and be on our be on our
You mean
channel.
Patreon?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're on Spotify too, though, aren't we?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Patreon, yeah, yeah. Okay, so Patreon, go to the Patreon, join it. Like I said, it's free for the first 7 days, and check it out and see what we're gonna put in there. You can look at what we have to offer with extra content, and maybe you'll like it. It'll be cool. And Sonny, do you have anything to add?
Thanks for listening. And somebody said, yeah, if I don't like your CD, I will burn it. If I don't like your music, I'll burn it to CD and throw it out the window in 680. Yes, that is correct.
Wow.
That
Just
is
to just to do it. I still have some CDRs. You got CDRs? I still got some.
I recently found a bunch of DVD-Rs for because I used to like
Nice.
yeah, I used to take my VHSs and like connect them
Try to-
together and
Mhm.
burn. Yeah. Anyway, Lee, do you have anything to add?
No, lots of fun as usual, and I missed you guys.
We missed you. It's very awesome to have you back. And Sonny would rather look at you than Joey anyway.
Oh!
Hell yes.
Yes. I know it's true. I know it's true. You
I'd
guys,
rather look at Saxon than look at Joey. And I hate
Ooh.
Saxon.
Yikes.
Yo.
You guys know what I'm going to say. We love Kiss, and we love Kiss podcasts, most of them anyway. And you're going to hear the commercials for all the ones right after this. Hey, Sven, good job today. 3, 2, 1, peace.
Peace.